A high salary is supposed to fix everything. That's the promise most people grow up believing. Earn more money, and life becomes easier. Stress fades. Options expand. Freedom follows. More income should mean more control. On paper, the math seems obvious. But then, reality tells a different story. You start noticing something strange. People earning salaries you once dreamed about, $90,000, $120,000, $180,000 a year, don't look free. They look tense, careful, exhausted, afraid of disruption, afraid of missing even one paycheck. And that's when the uncomfortable question appears. If a high salary is supposed to create freedom, why do so many high earners feel trapped? The answer isn't simple, and it isn't flattering. Because a high salary doesn't automatically create financial security. In many cases, it quietly replaces one type of stress with another. Instead of worrying about not having enough, people start worrying about maintaining what they've built. And that shift, slow, subtle, almost invisible, is where the trap begins. No one wakes up one day and decides to destroy their finances. High earners don't think they're making bad choices. Most of them believe they finally did everything right. They worked hard. They stayed disciplined. They climbed the ladder. They got the raise, the promotion, the title. For a while, it feels like success. Bills get paid easily. Groceries don't require mental math anymore. You can say yes without checking your account. Friends congratulate you. Family feels relieved. From the outside, it looks like you made it. But quietly, something else starts happening beneath the surface. As income rises, expectations rise with it. Not expectations from other people, though those exist, but expectations from yourself. Your definition of normal begins to shift. What once felt excessive now feels reasonable. What once felt like a luxury starts to feel necessary. You don't consciously decide to inflate your lifestyle. It happens naturally. A better apartment because you work too hard to live somewhere small. A newer car because reliability matters now. More convenience because your time is valuable. Each decision feels logical, responsible even. None of them feel reckless. And that's exactly why they're dangerous. Because every upgrade increases fixed costs. Fixed costs are the silent enemy of financial freedom. They don't scream. They don't cause immediate pain. They simply arrive every month on time, demanding to be fed. Rent, car payments, insurance, subscriptions, minimum debt payments, expenses that don't care if you're tired, burned out, or unhappy. To understand the trap, look at a real example. Let's say someone earns $120,000 a year in the U.S. On paper, that sounds wealthy. But after federal, state, and payroll taxes, that $120,000 often turns into around $7,000 per month take-home, sometimes less depending on location. Now, watch what happens. Rent or mortgage, $2,400. Car payment, $750. Insurance, car plus health, $600. Student loans, $400. Utilities plus phone plus internet, $350. Subscriptions and services, $200. Groceries, $700. Gas, parking, transit, $300. Before this person saves a single dollar, before investing, before enjoying life, over $6,000 is already gone. That leaves maybe $800 to $1,000. And that's on a high salary. So when people say, I make good money but still feel broke, they're not lying. Their income is high, but their margin is thin. Their future income is already spoken for. Every paycheck arrives with obligations attached. This is how people making $40,000 feel broke, and how people making $140,000 feel broke. Different numbers, same pressure. Because the problem was never the income, it was dependence. When your lifestyle requires your next paycheck, you are not free. You're running a system that only works if nothing goes wrong. And systems like that don't feel fragile until they're tested. High earners are especially vulnerable because society rewards visible success, not invisible security. Nobody notices your savings rate. Nobody compliments your emergency fund. Nobody applauds low fixed costs. But everyone notices your apartment, your car, your lifestyle. Spending gets validation. Saving stays silent. So spending feels like progress, saving feels like doing nothing. And slowly, without realizing it, people optimize for appearance instead of resilience. There's another layer to this trap that rarely gets talked about. High earners often carry a quiet fear. If this income disappears, everything collapses. They may never say it out loud, but it shapes every decision. They stay in jobs they hate. They tolerate stress they shouldn't. They delay career changes. They avoid risk. Not because they lack ambition, but because they lack margin. Margin is the space between survival and panic. It's the buffer that allows mistakes, pauses, and change. And high salaries often destroy margin faster than low ones, because expectations rise just as quickly as income. Income is loud, margin is quiet. Income looks impressive, margin looks boring. But margin is what gives you options, it gives you time, it gives you negotiation power. It allows you to say no without fear. Without margin, even a six-figure income can feel like a leash. This is where the illusion of stability becomes dangerous. A stable income feels safe because it's predictable. Money shows up on schedule, bills get paid, life continues. But financial security isn't about when things go right. It's about what happens when something goes wrong. For most high earners, even a short interruption, a layoff, a health issue, burnout, an economic downturn creates immediate panic. Not because they're irresponsible, but because their system was never designed to absorb shock. That's not strength. That's fragility wearing a suit. Eventually, something cracks the illusion. Sometimes it's dramatic, a layoff or medical emergency. Sometimes it's quieter, burnout, anxiety, or the realization that despite earning more than ever, life feels smaller. That's when the questions change. Not how do I make more money, but why do I need so much just to feel okay? Real financial security, it turns out, is remarkably unglamorous. It doesn't show up as luxury. It doesn't impress strangers. It looks like low fixed costs, high savings rates, cash reserves, and income that isn't entirely dependent on your presence. It looks boring, but boring removes fear. A high salary isn't bad. It's powerful if you use it correctly. Not to endlessly upgrade lifestyle, but to buy time. Not to signal success, but to build resilience. Not to inflate obligations, but to reduce dependence. The real flex isn't luxury, it's optionality. It's being able to say no. It's being able to walk away. It's sleeping calmly at night. It's making decisions without panic. Money isn't about what you can show. It's about what you can withstand. A high salary becomes a trap when it locks you into a life that requires constant performance. When missing one paycheck creates fear. When freedom is postponed indefinitely. The goal isn't to earn more forever. The goal is to need less. Because the moment your expenses grow slower than your income, something powerful happens. Margin appears. Choices expand. Fear fades. You stop reacting and start deciding. And that's real wealth. Not the number on your paycheck, but the distance between your life and your next paycheck.